Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Today's video is called 10 Reasons Why Disney's New Ships Are Delayed 2 more years. They just announced the other day that the 2 new ships they're bringing out, ships number, I believe, 6 and 7, are now delayed each 2 additional years, where ship number 5 has been delayed until the summer of 2022 from the end of 2021. That's the Disney Wish. Thank you, everybody, for sponsoring this channel, supporting this channel, subscribing, giving thumbs ups. I really appreciate it. If you're seeing any ads on this channel, I'm not being paid for them these days. There's a glitch in the YouTube system, so those of you who are sending me PayPal donations, I cannot thank you enough for keeping me on the air. Thank you so much. Also, those of you who are becoming sponsor members by joining my sponsor member group, welcome aboard. We have 2 live shows every week just for sponsor members, Mondays at 8 o'clock Eastern, Fridays at 3 o'clock Eastern, and we play trivia as well. Thank you, everybody, for supporting this full-time YouTuber. The story is Disney today. They have 4 ships in the water right now. They've got the Disney Magic, the Disney Wonder, they have the Disney Dream, and the Disney Fantasy. Number 5 ship is the Disney Wish, and it is under construction. It's been delayed. It was supposed to be out in 2021. Then it was supposed to come out the end of 2021. Now they're saying summer of 2022. And Disney, like everybody else, is trying to adjust their sailings going forward to adhere to the new changes that are going to be part of cruising, the CDC rules, the health protocols, social distancing, and everything else. And I'll tell you, folks, these cruise lines are really up against it to try to, make this work. But I've got 10 reasons why the 2 ships have been delayed 2 years. And I tell you that the folks at Disney were not thinking that this would have been a possibility, not even 9 months ago. By the way, here's an image, a rendition of the, I believe, of the Wish that'll be coming out in the summer of 2022. First of all, here's the first reason. Reason number 1, massive COVID outbreaks in Europe. Across a number of countries, lockdowns, shutdowns. A number of factories are on restricted manpower. Parts are behind in delivery, supply chain breakdowns. You can see right here is an image coming up right there of the Meyerwerft shipyard in Germany. This is where the Disney ships are assembled. This massive complex, employing thousands and thousands of workers. They're on strict social distancing rules, and only a fraction of the workers are actually working here. So they just cannot produce the kind of quantity that they're used to producing, and so the ships are delayed. That's one reason for this delay. Number 2, the new CDC Health Guidelines. This, I believe, is forcing the cruise lines to completely change the design of their ships. What you haven't heard yet, folks, is you have not heard from cruise lines the structural and engineering changes that they're going to be making on their ships in order to be able to adhere to the CDC guidelines going forward. Disney itself, their cash flow has been restricted because their parks are either at 30 to 35% occupancy, or in the case of Disneyland, which is right here, they're shut down completely in California. So they can't operate at all. And so Disney's gross revenues and cash flows have been reduced, and that's another reason why they're in no hurry to take delivery of 2 additional ships after the Disney Wish comes their way. They're just not in a hurry right now. Number 4, crew quarters and workspaces are going to have to be re-engineered for the safety of the staff. The folks who work on these ships are generally working just above the waterline or under the waterline. So they generally don't have a lot of access to the outside air. They're basically working in the kitchen areas, the laundry areas, all the storage areas. They're frantically working indoors all the time to keep us comfortable and keep us looked after and spoil us rotten. And they're stuck down below. That's going to have to be re-engineered, new ventilation systems, and this is another reason why the delay might be as long as it is to re-engineer these ships. You can see here some of the pieces of this particular vessel. You can see some of the lower decks and some of the attractions that are down there. They're going to have to do a lot of thinking whether they want to have passengers down here in clusters, or are they going to move these areas higher up, or are they going to take inside rooms out and make them even larger? The character experiences and shows are going to have to be completely rethought. The whole magic of taking a Disney cruise with some youngsters is to get them to be introduced to these folks right here, these wonderful characters, the people that play them. But going forward with social distancing and everything else, there is going to be some major changes. This image here might be a thing of yesteryear for a while. To have children with adults this close together in such a small confined area on board a ship just might not fly anymore. And so going forward, the Disney people are going to be really working a lot to find a way to entertain all age groups of family members in various venues like this one right here, but they're going to need either fewer performers, fewer participants, or more space for everyone with much better enhanced ventilation and you name it. So there's going to be a lot of changes. The move, number 6, moving into virtual reality games is going to have to be engineered as well. They're going to need more space for virtual reality rooms and areas like that. You cannot have 25 kids gathered around one kid playing a virtual reality game. It's just too tight of a space. Not going to happen. They're going to have to, another one at number 7, the top decks are going to have to be reorganized for better crowd control. And these restaurants, the same thing. Look at how tightly together these chairs are. Some of the photos you're looking at here are shot with a wide-angle lens, most likely. Some of these are publicity shots, and so they make it look to you that they're incredibly roomy in here, but they're not. It's pretty tight, especially these lower deck eating venues. Here's a shot of the deck space on the top of the ship. This is generally the safest place for air circulation, but this scene right here, forget about it. This is not going to happen going forward on any cruise line for quite some time. Folks without a mask and this tightly packed in, just not going to happen anymore. It's just not a chance. Look at this shot here. Now, you know, the folks at Disney, again, they make it so much fun, and they have so many celebrations and parties and get-togethers. It's part of the charm of the cruise line. Unfortunately, this is going to really change the atmosphere on board all cruise ships, including Disney. I know the folks at Royal Caribbean, they love to have their parades in the main shopping areas on board their ships, the big atrium areas, especially for, you know, if it's raining out, you can do an indoor parade kind of a thing. But look here, all these folks packed in right underneath that screen. This is yesteryear. This is just not going to be allowed going forward. Just far too dangerous to spread the virus from one to another. The slides here, they're okay. You know, two sisters going down, fair enough. But the folks on those loungers, there's going to be spacing there. Lots of changes coming up on the top decks. They're going to have to figure out a way to re-engineer them. The back of these ships seem to taper off quite a bit, and you kind of wonder if the new ships that they're going to build are going to have sort of a flat back end rather than a sloped back end, so you have more deck space going towards the back of the ship to spread these people out. Also, of course, social distancing with respect to the occupancy levels, that might change things. If this ship is only half full, then you're at maybe For the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder, you might only have 13 to 1,400 people instead of 2,700 people. And on the Disney Dream and Fantasy, you might have 2,000 instead of 4,000 people. And that obviously gives everyone more square footage on a per-person basis. These kinds of shots right here, yesterday's news, you're not going to see 6 or 7 ships in one port at the same time anymore. I cannot see Caribbean island nations allowing 12 to 15,000 people to get off of cruise ships for 6 hours, pack the downtown core and grab every taxi imaginable and pile them all into buses. It's just not going to happen. Distancing is going to be a really, really big deal. Another change, number 8, is going to be more touchless technology. This is going to be needed for embarkation, shore excursions, disembarkation, and onboard experiences. Just the mere act of going in and out of your room, they're going to want to just have you wave your wrist machine on like a little, looks like a pocket, like a watch, a wristwatch, have something on your wrist. You just wave that, your door automatically opens up, and use your elbow to push the door open. That will probably be likely throughout the ship. And then to charge items, again, you'll just wave a wand, maybe that thing on your wrist to charge a couple of drinks or something on board the ship. These inside rooms here, number 9, they're probably looking at changing the inside room numbers for the new ships coming out. They'll probably, don't be surprised if Disney literally takes them all out and doesn't offer any inside rooms whatsoever, and that the space that used to be taken up by the inside rooms will now be taken up by either exclusive adult area, exclusive children's area, enhanced size of certain restaurants, maybe more room for a casino. They're just going to make it much more roomier on the lower decks where the inside rooms were and the ocean view rooms were. They're going to take that space out and likely open it up for more public space. And that just allows more people more space to go about their daily affairs on the ship. In effect, restricting accommodation probably to just the balcony rooms. And the eating areas, number 10, eating areas are going to be redesigned as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Disney Wish, by the time you get on it, you'll notice that there are glass partitions between all the tables. There might be, where there used to be a table for 4, there might now be a round semicircle booth instead, surrounded on 270 degrees by glass and fake plants. They'll make it look as natural as possible, but there's going to be massive changes. Here's another change. Look at the showroom here. You're not going to see this anymore packed to the rafters with spectators. These seats, you'll see, a couple sitting together, and then there'll be a gap on either side of them, and then perhaps another couple. So these showrooms are going to go from 700, 800, 900 people down to 300, 400 people per show. And the cruise lines will likely ask their performers to conduct 3 shows a night instead of 2 shows a night to get just as many people through, something like that. Don't be surprised if you're going to need a reservation for particular nights that you want to see a show, and you have to book early, because obviously if you want the 7 o'clock show, you might have to be early off the mark, because others might want it as well, and you might be stuck with the 10 o'clock show if you're not lucky enough to get your 7. This area right here will be heavily restricted. There will be people allowed here, but it'll be far fewer. And these, like I say, these new ships, they're going to re-engineer them dramatically. I cannot see them just literally building them the way they thought they were going to build them. Remember, if these ships were supposed to be out for 2022 and 2023, they were designed and engineered 3-4 years ago. That's all changed. I'm sure that the engineers and the architects are working feverishly and have been for months to completely redesign these ships to adhere to the new CDC COVID standards and wait until the Europeans get into this. They're going to have dramatic requests as well that might even be more restrictive than the U.S. Requests from the CDC. I don't want to make the CDC just the only bad guy in this story. Not that they're bad guys, but these ships are likely going to be really re-engineered. And that brings me to the next video I'm going to make, which is how many ships are going to be retired by the cruise lines when they figure out how many hundreds of millions of dollars are going to need to redesign existing ships that they have. And this is going to put a lot of pressure on cruise lines. Thank you again for joining me today. Thank you for following this channel, becoming sponsor members, subscribers, and thumbs ups. I appreciate it. Thank you for the PayPal donations. We'll keep you posted on this story, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye for now.